Welcome to Distortion Analysis, where each episode we discuss various topics, music news, bands on tour, and share album reviews, all focused on heavy metal. Here are your hosts, Sean McKnight and William Rizzo. So, welcome to our podcast. My name is Sean McKnight, and with me as my co-host is William Rizzo.
Hey,
And there he is. And we're gonna start. This is our first episode, so this episode will probably be a little rough around the edges until we get our bearings and figure all this out. But we're on our way. We want to start with a little intro about ourselves, as far as just talking about why we're here, what we're going to talk about, a little bit about our backgrounds, just so everybody kind of understands, a little bit about our history here and what we're all about. So, William, did you want to start, or did you want me to start as far as background stuff?
oh, go ahead.
Okay, so my history goes back into the '90s a bit. I've been a musician since the '80s, but I got into metal music, really back in the '80s, as far as a musician and playing bands and stuff. And then eventually I got to work for record labels. So that happened in the '90s. Started around '94, I think. I started to work at Relapse Records as doing radio promotions, is what they hired me for originally. And then it kind of morphed into a position where I was working on video promotions and doing tour coordinations and setting up endorsement deals for bands and doing video promotions and the A&R stuff, where I would help manage the bands whenever they were in the country,
Nice.
things like that. And at that time, Relapse and Nuclear Blast were one kind of office because it was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
And at that point, Relapse was the U.S. office of Nuclear Blast. So it was kind of two labels, at the same time. So we were working with like Relapse bands like, let me think, who was on Relapse, like Deceased and, some
Oh,
Exit 13, some of the other more,
mhm.
grindy bands. And then on Nuclear Blast, we had like Dismember and Amorphous. And Amorphous is kind of on both labels, really. And we had, later on In Flames and, all these other great, these great bands. So, and I got to work with, a good chunk of those bands. So that was what I did. So, and then I did that for a while. And then eventually the labels split apart. There was a Nuclear Blast office set up all by itself. And then I ended up working for that office too. So I left, Relapse, went to Nuclear Blast, and then worked for that office, kind of doing the same stuff. So, and worked with bands like Meshuggah and,
Mhm.
and then all those great bands. So yeah,
Mhm.
so that's a little
Now,
bit about my history. Yeah, go ahead.
have you stayed into metal music
Yeah,
from then this through the whole last 20 years or
I
so?
did stay into it. Yeah, like one of my problems with it was at the end of my career in it, I was really burning out on it, where I was getting, it was kind of killing music for me, where it was like, it was having the opposite effect, where I was getting so inundated with so much music, but then also the politics of it were really bothering me.
Mm.
And that was it was just kind of it's kind of a dirty business in a lot of ways, and a lot of cutthroat bullshit that goes on.
Yep.
And between all that and just, I think the oversaturation of it, I just was kind of getting sick of it. So that's
Mhm.
when, I had another career kind of change. I moved over into teaching and things like that, and video production, those kinds of things. And then eventually left the industry in like 2000, I think two or three, something like that, is when I was done at Nuclear Blast. But then after that, I stayed still working with bands and doing live shows of my own, and I
Mhm.
still stayed active, just not in the label sense. So, but yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and I still stay in touch with some of those bands. Like I'm in touch with guys from like Deceased and Amorphous and some of the other bands out there. So,
Very nice.
yeah.
It's
So
nice
how,
to stay plugged in.
yeah, yeah, and the funny thing is that sometimes they actually even still recognize me. I went to the Maryland Deathfest like back in, I forget what year that was, 28. It was before COVID, so it was like 2019 or 2018. It was just before COVID, I guess.
Yeah.
And we saw Amorphous there. I was there with a buddy of mine, and we saw Amorphous there, and they were doing a meet and greet afterwards, like the signing a table thing. And I just wanted to see, go up and say hi. And then Essa, the guitarist, recognized me right away. And he goes, "Oh!" And he recognized me, and we were like hugged, and it's like this big moment because we were friends when I
Yeah.
was working with those guys. Yeah. So him and Tommy, the other guitarist, they both recognized me from like 20 years ago. So that was really cool because
We
I walked up to them and they looked at me like it's like, "Hey, I don't know." I was like, "Do you guys remember me?" And they was like, "Oh yeah." And then it was a big thing. So that was fun.
Very nice.
Yeah, yeah. So how about you? Now I blabbed on long enough. What about let's hear the Williams story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always loved music just in different forms over the last, I mean, for most of my life. And actually, it's going to sound crazy. Started with disco in the 70s. That
That
those are
was
the
your
records.
portal into music was disco.
Oh yeah, oh
Get
yeah.
out. Who are your
The,
bands?
Sat- the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack
Oh, I had that. I had that album.
was like I worshipped that. I worshipped the Bee
Right
Gees.
on.
I
Yeah.
worshipped Kool and the Gang.
Wow.
And don't even get me started on the Village People.
No
All right.
way.
When I was in first grade, I actually got my I asked the teacher, we were putting on some kind of play, and I was like, can we do a song where we dance to YMCA? I remember if it was YMCA or In the Navy, one of those two was like one of my favorite songs of theirs. And yeah, I mean, at like six, I convinced the teacher to add this segment in because that's how heavily I was into it. So that kind of morphed into pop music, the pop music that was around in the early 80s, the
Okay.
beginning of like electronic music,
Yeah.
Tears for Fears and things like that. But
Right.
mostly I was a top 40 radio guy.
Wow.
I grew up on Long Island, which of course is right next to New York.
Yeah,
And it is New York, but I mean the city,
yeah.
the real part.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when rap music came out. And you take like a 10-year-old kid who's watching videos of these dudes breakdancing Grand Concourse in the Bronx, and you're like, I want to do that. And so I started getting into all this rap music, and every Saturday night I was putting
Wow.
on breakdancing shows for my parents with a boombox and
No
everything.
way. I'm trying to
Yeah,
picture that.
oh yeah. Well,
Oh my
fortunately,
God.
there's no pictures of this. Fortunately. Yeah, but I mean, I was totally into it, and
Whoa, wow.
yeah, I thought I wanted to be like a DJ for like
No shit.
R&B stuff, and then
Wow.
yeah, and I just like I don't know how the rock. So I mean, there was a few rock records that I enjoyed, like I had Pyromania on
Who
vinyl.
is your first favorite hip hop? Who is your first favorite hip hop guys? Like rap guys?
Oh, it had to be Run DMC.
Run
Had to be.
DMC. Yeah,
Oh
okay,
yeah,
cool. Right
Run
on.
DMC and LL Cool J were like the top two.
Yeah, nice, nice.
And then you have the lesser known guys, but the like more
Yeah,
street
yeah.
cred guys like Biz Markie and
Right, right.
Slick Rick the Ruler. I was like
Cool
crazy
Herc.
about those dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean it was like that, and through the mid 80s into the late 80s when my best friend from high school started turning me on to rock music because
Okay.
we were both into pop music, and then some guy that he became friends with turned him on to music and was like, "What are you listening to? Here, listen to the Led Zeppelin tape. Here, listen to this Jimi Hendrix tape." So
Ah.
he went through that, and he started, and I'm like watching this transformation take place. I'm like, "What is he doing?" He's like, betraying his roots and all that. And then all of a sudden he was like, dude, you have to listen to this tape. Just listen to it a few times.
Which one
Don't
was
like
it?
it.
What was the first tape?
I don't remember. It was either a Hendrix tape or a
Okay.
Cream tape or a
Oh,
Zeppelin tape.
all right
And
on.
yeah, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. This is unlike anything I ever heard. Not completely, because like I
Yeah.
said, there was a few rock things in kind of buried in there.
Run DMC did the crossover with Aerosmith and things
They
like
did.
that.
Yeah.
So,
And there was also like rock that was in the pop charts, so that some of it made it into the pop charts. But I also like the band Triumph, which was a three-piece.
oh, love Triumph. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're actually doing a reunion tour thing now.
Yeah, I thought that was off, but
Oh,
hopefully
I
you're
don't know. I
right.
think it's back on. I don't know. I was reading that they're doing something.
I need to get a ticket.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens
Yeah.
because they're not young chickens anymore.
No, 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 no.
But yeah,
And it's the original three. It's the same three guys. So they're doing a
so
thing.
yeah, Gilmore is
Yep.
the drummer, I think, and
Yep.
or the bassist, I don't remember. Then
Yeah.
Rick Emmett. I mean,
Rick
I
Emmett.
idolize that
Yeah.
guy.
Of course.
So probably about 89, 88, 89 is when I started listening to like classic rock.
Okay.
And what happened was over the next couple of years, so this guy that turned me on to the music, his mother bought him a guitar for Christmas of 88.
Yeah.
And this is a very sad story, and I hope he doesn't mind that I'm telling it. But his mom had an asthma attack shortly after the presents were given out, and she passed away.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, it was
It sucks.
extremely traumatic.
Yikes.
And so Fortunately, he bounced back from it. He has a very successful career in San Francisco right now. He's a DJ and
Oh, right.
music, and he's very um, skilled skilled with doing like video editing and things like that.
Mm.
So anyway, he starts playing guitar, and he's like, William, you have to get an electric guitar so we can jam. And at that point, I only had like a few acoustic guitar lessons, like from a
Okay.
few years before that. And I was learning shit like Mary Had a Little Lamb and I a Yellow Ribbon and shit, you know.
Yeah.
So I was bored with it, and
Yeah.
I forgot about it. So he's like, just get an electric guitar. So asked my parents to get me one, and I got a cheapo Charvel with a cheapo little practice amp, and then
Nice.
we started going over to his house, and we started jamming.
Right
Uh,
on.
I started getting into AC/DC because that was a very, very easy
Ah,
stepping stone,
sure. Oh,
to
yeah.
learn.
AC/DC is a good, yeah, a good way in. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's easy enough to where you can teach yourself.
Well,
So
blues scales. That's just blues scales. Yeah.
yep, and the chord progressions are all real similar. That's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
slight variations on. So that's how I kind of taught myself to play, was playing along with AC/DC. And then I got into Rush,
Oh,
and
boy. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and then so then I was into like more than just like your basic classic rock stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm listening to the radio one night, and it's a not an it's a college radio station up in New York called WSOU.
I was gonna say WSOU.
Yeah,
I used to work with them. Yeah.
they have
South Orange, New Jersey. They're like the biggest metal station in that market.
oh, totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, they were playing, I don't know if it was the Monday Night Mayhem show or what, but
Yeah.
I'm listening to, and they played all kinds of stuff, but all of a sudden
Yeah.
they played Metallica's Disposable Heroes.
Ah,
And
okay.
I had never heard Metallica before,
Oh
and it was
boy.
the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
evil shit that I ever heard. And I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe music is that heavy."
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
Back when
started.
Metallica was still heavy. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, that's from that's from the Puppets album before he
Right.
even got into the Justice stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just floored by it, and I said I really want to learn to play like that. So I started gradually learning the simplest stuff, and then moving my way up. And then I got eventually I started moving up to the other bands, harder and faster stuff, Exodus and
Yep.
Slayer,
Yep. Okay.
Megadeth,
Yep. Yep.
and it was only about a year after that that I got bitten by the extreme metal bug, and I
Okay.
said, "That's it right there, bro. I need to learn how to do that because that's what I want to do." And so then I started playing along with those records, and I'm like, I got to get into a band. And I was in bands, I was in a couple of bands before I got into my main band, which was Sarcophagy.
Who's the first death metal band that you were like, that's the band I wanna that's lighting the fire to do the thing?
Well, I know it's not. A lot of people say, "Well, that's not death metal." But it was Napalm Death.
Was it Napalm Death? Okay. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
they're considered grindcore or whatever, but
it's
it's the
considered
same.
grindcore.
Yeah.
But the thing that I tell people is the Harmony Corruption album,
Yeah.
it is a death metal
Yeah.
album,
Yeah. I
even
would
if
say
that's not what
I
their
agree.
intention was. And
Yeah.
if that's not what Mick Harris intended for it to sound like,
Yeah.
they went to Morrisound. They
Yeah.
recorded with um not Tom Morris. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The guy that did all the recording. Great. Now I'm an idiot. I just met him last year. He's a cool
Uh,
dude.
the guy from
Uh,
Morrisound.
yeah, yeah. Hold
Uh,
on.
yeah, let's Google this real quick.
Oh, great. Now my phone is
Hold
turned.
on.
I should have left the phone up. Oh, Scott Burns.
Oh, Scott.
How,
Yeah, Dow. Yeah, I
how
forgot
the
about it.
heck is his
Duh.
name?
Yeah,
Sorry,
Scott
Scott.
Burns. Yep, yep.
So they followed the same formula that all the other bands have followed, so their
Yeah.
records sounded an awful lot like it. So one night I was
Yeah.
watching Headbangers Ball,
Okay.
and they played the video for Supper the Children,
Yep,
and
yep. I remember
it,
that.
it was a life-changing moment
Yeah,
that I
that was
still
it.
remember. If I think back enough, I'm like, I can remember sitting in the basement and going, "Holy fucking shit!" It was mind blowing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I um really started getting into that, and I started getting into Death and Obituary and Cannibal Corpse and all
Yep,
that.
yep.
And then, and then I started, jamming along with the cassettes of that. At the same time, I'm in these bands, they're like cover bands,
Hmm.
or just like I was jamming with people. Like I had this guy I'm still good friends with, who's a drummer down in Nashville. That it was me and him and another guy that we used to take places trade the drum, not the drum, the bass with the guitar
Yeah.
because he was a big Stevie Ray Vaughan guy.
Huh.
So he would jam, he would want to do a couple SRV covers, and I would
No way. Wow.
play the bass on that, and
That's
then
cool.
I would put my guitar on, he'd put the bass on, and we would just play this like I don't know, with very amateurish avant-garde noise rock. Nobody was singing anything, but we were just going
Was
nuts.
that
And
Sarcophagy? Was that the beginning
no,
of the? Oh, okay.
no, it was just an opportunity to jam on like a Friday night.
Oh, I see. I got you. Okay.
Our old band that had broken up, the one that I was in with the guitar player,
Yeah.
had broken up, and we were standing at some local concert, this local show. We're watching the band play, and he says to me, "Man, I'm so bummed that the band broke up." I'm like, "I know. I don't know what we're going to do. We'll have to try to find somebody to jam with." He
Yeah.
goes, "Oh, who are we going to find?" We were at Purdue University in Indiana, which is fairly conservative of an
Yeah.
area. I
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't know that there was a whole metal underground there yet.
Really?
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, I was like,
At
second year.
Purdue? No kidding.
Yeah. Well, and,
Huh.
and people back then, people would tell me in New York, they're like, "Oh, you're going to Purdue? You know how conservative it is out there?" And to an extent, they were right. But
Huh. I'll be damned.
I came obviously to find
Been a metal
a much
underground.
different
Yeah.
picture. So we're standing there, and he's sitting next to his other friend, and he goes, "Hey, do you happen to know anybody that's a drummer?" And he kind of started laughing, and he goes, "Yeah, him." And standing next to him was my friend Mark, and "Hey, what's up?" And so right after that show was done, we went back to his apartment and consumed many libations, talked about all the things we were going to do and jam. And so we started this every Friday night thing. And
Wow, cool.
yeah, that lasted for about 6, 7 months. And then the semester ended, and I had to try to, I don't know, he was going to start jamming with some other band. So again, I'm in the situation where I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm going to do. And that's when I went to a local show with this girl I was dating because she was a townie, so she knew
Hmm.
all the people and the
Yeah.
local. So she brings me to this show, and she's like, "Oh, one of the bands that's playing is a death metal band. I know
Hmm.
you like death metal." I'm like, "Sure, let's go." So we go there, and one of the bands that comes on is my friend Tony's band. He ended up being the bassist for Sarcophagy, but he was in this band called Casket, and they came out on stage and they just tore the place to shreds. And I
Wow.
was like, I thought there was no one like this here. You lied to me. So I introduced myself after the show. I'm like, I know you got a band together and all that, but here's my name and number. If you know any other musicians that are looking for music. So he hooked me up with the guy who ended up becoming our drummer.
Okay.
Uh, and then a few months after that, I called him. We started jamming, and I met
Okay.
the rest of the guys. And so we did, we were a Sarcophagy for 3 years
So
from,
that's how the band sort of came out. It was out of Purdue University, the scene.
yeah. Well, none of the other guys were Purdue students,
Okay.
at least not yet. And it was just me. And
That's crazy that there was a scene there.
yeah,
Weird.
Purdue is in West Lafayette, and Lafayette's across the river from it.
Yeah.
So there really isn't a whole lot of interaction between
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guys
I
who
got you.
live and work in Lafayette, which is a fairly blue collar town,
Yeah.
industrial, a lot of industry, heavy industry there, versus, the college town of
Yeah.
West
Yeah.
Lafayette.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I called the drummer, I'm like, "Listen, Tony gave me a number. I was wondering if you wanted to jam. I'm a Purdue student, but I have all this free time outside of studying. Do you want to jam?" And he's like, "I thought you'd never call me.
No way.
Get,
Wow.
get
That's
your ass
cool.
over here and bring your guitar." I'm like,
No shit. Wow. Hell yeah.
so yeah, we started hanging out,
Now,
and
how long you said we were together? 3 years?
yeah,
We got signed?
no, we didn't get
No,
signed.
it
No,
didn't get signed. Okay. But
no, we tried.
did you produce your own? Did you release your own stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, would
yeah.
you would how many stuff how did you release like full-length
Just
albums or what?
no, two demos we
Two
did.
demos. Okay.
They were both studio recorded.
Okay.
The second one sounds a lot better than the first one does.
Did you get to how much did you get to play around a lot? Did you guys get to tour and stuff like a little bit?
Yeah, fair amount, like
Yeah.
about I'd say maybe 20 to 30 shows.
Right on.
With, I mean, it's not that many. especially today when everybody's playing shows. But
Yeah.
it was a little difficult to schedule shows because a lot of times people wouldn't rent to us
Well,
because they knew.
were you guys still based there in like in the same town,
Oh
or
yeah.
did you?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So so was there opportunity to play around there, or did you have to kind of go
Oh,
outside?
definitely.
There was. Okay.
Yeah, so like we would rent out like the Union Hall, or we
Okay.
would rent out the local armory that had a big gymnasium in it. And you get in touch with the sound guy, and then
Huh.
work on the promotion. I did a lot, man. I took the DIY ethic to heart.
Wow.
It was important to me because I was like, oh,
So there weren't any clubs, so you made a club more or less. Like
yeah.
a
I
little.
mean, it was like, like a community center.
Cool.
Yeah, just a church
Huh.
actually that let us rent out the space after. It wasn't like the part with the pews in it. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
an
yeah.
auditorium area. But yeah, no. So we played like a lot of shows around town.
Wow.
Couple bars we played in.
Okay.
Um, but we did travel out of town. We played in Flint, Michigan. We
Oh, right
played
on.
in Kenosha, Wisconsin. We did the Milwaukee Metal Fest one year.
Oh, cool. You
Yeah.
did Milwaukee Metal Fest. Cool. I was
Yep.
gonna say, so you got to play with some signed bands too.
Oh, definitely.
Did you open up for anybody big?
Once we played in Indianapolis where Morpheus Descends actually opened for us.
Oh,
Uh,
right on. Wow.
I was so stoked.
That's cool.
We also did a show in Bloomington, Illinois. It was the Bloomington Deathfest where we opened up for both Dying Fetus and Oppressor.
Oh, right on.
And it was back when Dying Fetus wasn't like known
That
yet.
it wasn't like Dying Fetus. Yeah.
Yeah, and and
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling too bad about the mistakes I made during our set, and I was just relaxing with our drummer. And all of a sudden, they came out and they just destroyed the place.
Oh my
I said,
God.
"Well, I guess we got a little practicing we got to do and get home." Because they just kicked our ass. So yeah, so it was a
Cool.
good. It was 3 years of a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and camaraderie. You meet people in other bands, and it was fun. We got a lot of fan mail
Cool. Did you
from
really?
around the
Nice.
world. Yeah,
Very cool. Wow.
we got a lot of stuff from Brazil.
Brazil.
Surprising.
How did they find you?
No idea. Well, you do. Back in the day, you did a lot of tape trading,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay.
Because there was no internet
Right.
yet,
It's all
and
underground. Yeah.
yeah, and everything was like you mentioned fanzines,
Well, I was gonna say, did you guys get zine interviews or anything anything like that
multiple
too?
interviews I
Oh, you
did.
did? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I was like, we have to get the word out about us doing this, otherwise we're doing all this work for nothing.
Yeah.
So I did a bunch of magazine interviews. I did a radio interview for some place in upstate New York. I think it was called
Okay.
Mega Trends in Brutality was the
Huh.
name of the show, and
Okay.
and it was a broadcast program. So he's like, before we go on, I just got to let you know you can't curse. He
Yeah.
goes, if you
It's
curse once, I
live.
got to give you a warning. If you
Yeah.
curse 2 times, I gotta end the show. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
don't worry about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool, man. We got correspondence from all different types of people. I was corresponding with a guy who was locked up in prison. That
Hmm.
apparently he somehow got a copy of our demo tape, and he's like,
Wow.
me and all the dudes when we are in the yard, we jam this tape while we're lifting weights, and I'm like,
Whoa. That's intense.
what? So I'm like, I better write back to this guy. So,
Yeah, you don't want to have his friends showing up and go,
all
"Hey,
right, you
why aren't
never
you
wrote
writing
back to
back to?"
Jimmy.
Yeah, he's waiting for your letter.
I know. Yeah, I think I sent him like a sticker or something to suck
Yeah,
off.
nice.
Uh,
Best to
so
keep him
yeah,
happy. Yeah, best to keep him
yep.
happy. Nice.
Uh,
What made the brand? What brought the band to an end?
so we were hoping to get signed, and uh, it didn't happen. We were hoping to get signed because when you're young, you get these ideas in your head that things are going to happen in a certain timeline,
Yeah.
and you don't understand the concept that life has its own design for
Right.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the things that our vocalist Eric was saying was, "Oh, we're going to go to the Metal Fest. Once we play that show, we could probably get signed, like Internal Bleeding got signed last year."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because apparently, like somebody from Pavement Records was standing in the audience, and
Right.
they just delivered a killer set,
Yeah.
and got signed to Pavement right away to do their first album. And
Yeah.
Eric was thinking the same thing was going to happen to us, and I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
But so it didn't. We went on. We were the first band it's all weekend long.
Yeah.
We were first band on Friday afternoon at like 3:30, 4 o'clock
Oh,
in the
yeah,
afternoon.
crap slot. Yeah.
And yeah, it was terrible. I mean, there was some people there and they got
Yeah.
into it, but like nobody important was there.
Yeah, yeah, no, not yet. Yeah.
So it didn't happen.
Uh,
And Eric decided he was going to move to San Diego. Uh,
oh,
so
okay.
that effectively ended us because as soon as he said that, Tony, our bass player, was like, "Well, I, I'm going to bail too because I think we should bring this to an end." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay." So and the way that the music was going at the time,
Yeah.
death metal was really kind of going on the decline.
Oh, okay.
And then not even just in the popularity, like I started noticing like the quality of the music. It seemed like there was more regurgitated riffs
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
were not as powerful. The music was getting kind of boring, and I'm like, what's
Yeah.
happening to this music? And then I noticed the new metal was and quickly taking its
Oh,
place. All
yeah.
of the fervor that was associated with the breakout of death metal in the early 90s was now transferred onto new metal.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't really see making a living with this unless
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just say screw it. I'm going to go down to Florida, and
Yeah.
even the folks in Florida weren't doing that well. It was just
Right.
on the decline. So you talked about a career change.
Yeah, yeah.
So I decided I wanted to go back to get my doctorate degree
Okay.
in psychology because I wanted to be a forensic psychologist and do
Okay.
evaluations with prisoners and things like that.
Yeah.
But so I went through. I basically left music behind. I packed up my guitar, my amp collected dust. I didn't write any music, didn't play for like 5 years, 6 years.
Mm.
And I didn't really listen to much music either because it was just I didn't have time.
Yeah.
So I kind of left the music scene entirely for 5, 6 years,
And
and
then
then gradually started getting back into it.
well now you're back doing what? So what are you doing currently? Talk about your current project. Oh, and by the way, yeah, go ahead and talk about your current project.
Um, so right now, I'm 15 years into my solo artist, my solo career as a musician, where I refer to myself as soul control because I do all of the stuff, all of the things like the recording. I receive a little bit of help here and there from friends who have
But you're
mastered.
playing, you're doing the vocals, the bass, the drums,
Yeah,
everything. Drum,
yeah,
guitar, everything, right?
yep, yep, everything.
Cool.
Yep. So and that's been its own long journey. It started about 2008, and I don't know. I realized that I had missed playing, and I had also missed metal.
Yeah.
So I started getting back into listening to what was around then, and by that time, death metal was starting to make a little bit of a resurgence with some of the bands that were had started back then, like Abysmal Dawn,
Yeah.
just a couple months ago, and so over the next few years, I started realizing, oh, I can put together my own songs and my own metal music. I'll just do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing. Now it's 2025, and I cut 2 solo albums out. Planning on releasing some kind of an EP here in the next year or so. And there was some talk about another Sarcophagy album, and I wrote some riffs
Hmm.
for it. So I don't know what's going on with that. I haven't heard anything. I know that some of the other guys that were wanting to do it, they're pretty busy with life right now.
Yeah.
As you get older, you get busier with life and
Yeah.
kids and that. So
Quick
they know I'm here, that I'm ready to go if they want to do it.
quick question. Can you hear the TV in the background?
No,
Okay,
probably
good.
because I'm listening to the heat in
Okay,
this
well, as long as you can't
thing.
hear it, it should be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now how can people find your music? Soul Control. Where do you have it out where people can get
Yeah.
it?
I only have it on one platform. I know I should have it on more. I know I should be on Bandcamp, but I'm only on Reverb Nation. So it's reverbnation.com/soul control.
How do you spell? And Soul is SOLE control.
SOLE.
There you go. Okay. And all the music for our podcast here is courtesy of you, by the way. So the intro music, any music you hear throughout this podcast is all William there. So just heads up for anybody who's listening to our podcast, any music you hear, it's all him. So you can get a sampling of William's music just by hearing the background stuff here, and then go find more, looking up Soul Control on Reverb Nation.
Rock on.
Rock on. Thanks, William. Okay, so that's a little bit about and we're going to be talking about here in the podcast. We're going to be talking about different types of metal. We're not going to just talk about death metal. We're going to talk about
Right.
everything encompassing metal, basically. So all things that are metal. So this could be anything from Metallica to, really extreme, brutal truth and, whatever, going to like stoner rock, whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah, so we're going to be just talking about all things within that spectrum. So just a heads up to our listeners as far as what we're going to be talking about. Eventually we'll have some interviews on here. We're going to get some, interviews lined up, and let's go ahead and move into music news. I read an article this week about Lamb of God and Stubhub. So I don't know if you saw that or not, but uh, apparently Stubhub was promoting a Christian event that was had something tied in with the Lamb of God, and
Yep.
then they showed they thought they got it confused with an actual Lamb of God concert. So they were showing like the band pictures and stuff, and I guess Lamb of God fans bought tickets to this thing, and then eventually it came out that this was actually a Christian event. So, what did you think?
Oop-
Did you hear about that?
Oops. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I think StubHub needs to stick with sporting events because clearly they're not qualified to handle music distribution. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they talked about it as a group, as a band. Like, wouldn't it be funny if?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, now the wouldn't it be funny if story actually happened.
I can't believe it hasn't happened sooner. Like
I know.
I mean, they were originally called Burn the Priest. Like when they first started, that was the first,
Yeah.
and then they evolved into the Lamb of God. But so the first name would have been more obvious, But then when they turned into Lamb of God, I'm kind of surprised this something hasn't happened like this sooner. I was actually thinking it was going to be the other way around, where they would be doing a concert somewhere, and then
Yeah.
Christians would see Lamb of God in like the newspaper, like a publication somewhere, get tickets for it, and then
Yep.
show up at the show and be like, "Wait a minute, I don't know if this is, hang on, kids, I don't know if this is quite the Christian event that we thought this was going to be."
Daddy, why is mommy crowd surfing?
Or crying or both. So, so I'm just wondering, do you think that's ever happened where like some Christians showed up at one of their shows?
I don't, maybe to protest.
That's true. Yeah, that's usually what they're.
Yeah, that's quite comical that such a mix-up could happen. I don't know about you, but I usually do my due diligence before I attend an event.
Yeah, yeah.
As
Usually, same here. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, especially if it's something that you've never seen before or heard of before. You
yeah.
don't just go based on the name. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that because I actually I actually went to go see Suffocation based on an ad that was in the paper. This is back in
Oh,
1992, and
okay.
I was like home for spring break, and while like other
So,
kids were down in
so you weren't
down.
familiar. You weren't familiar with them as a band yet.
No, I'd never even
Oh,
heard of
okay,
them.
gotcha.
And I remember the ad said Roadrunner recording artists, Suffocation with Immolation and Morpheus Descends.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know what Immolation, but I've never heard of this other band, Suffocation.
Yeah,
Sound brutal. If they're on Roadrunner Records, I
but
should go
right.
check it out. So
Well,
I
if they're playing
walked.
with Demolition, they're going to be brutal too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it wasn't something I could just look up on the phone.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
there was no radio station for me to call up, except for, I guess SOU might have had one of their records,
Yeah.
but I didn't know, so I just showed up, and sure enough, they ripped my face off.
Yeah.
Um,
As they do.
so,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, but I most of the time I usually look into who it is I'm going to see exactly.
Right. I just wonder if they ever play like a venue where there's it's like a theater or something. Because sometimes when there's a theater like that, they'll have like people who buy like a pass, like a season pass to all the events, right? And
Oh,
they'll just, you know what I mean? They'll just attend
yeah.
because they can. So you get like some
Right.
retired couple showing up. Oh, look, Margaret, it's Lamb of God. And then they show up and then it's like, they get their face ripped off. So, so that's the kind of thing I was kind of wondering if that ever happens with them.
A season pass.
Yeah, because they get people that show up
Well,
at plays and these kind of like they just go because it's something
right.
to do. They're
Something
retired
to
or
do.
whatever, and they have these like season passes where they'll have like it's like a membership, but they get to go to everything, right? So they buy
Yeah.
this one thing that costs whatever money, and then they can just attend everything that shows up. So that's the kind of thing I'm just kind of wondering if that ever happens with them. So
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Harris. This will never happen again. Who the hell booked this band?
Just like I love how deceiving their name is.
Yeah.
Lamb of
Well,
God.
I
You
know
know?
that I mentioned the last time we discussed this was you know, that there's the one video that they have where it starts off as a children's birthday
Right,
party,
right. Yeah.
you know, where there are all these waspy looking people with polo
Yeah.
shirts and they're, you know, but playing these like yard games. And here comes the freaking Lamb of God tour bus. They come off the bus and just start tearing the place up.
Oh my God. So,
So,
all right. So, do you have anything else in metal news? Anything else
uh,
you found?
I actually wanted to bring up something I just read about Dave Mustaine.
Oh, what's that?
They are, I mean, he's basically addressing the fact that they're not going to be recording any new
I
music.
saw that. Yeah. Like this is the last album.
This
This
is
is
the
it.
last album,
Yeah.
and
Last tour too.
yeah,
Yeah. It's like
um,
he's done.
the only question is how long the tour is going to last, and whether or not they're going to put out a live record, which I think he said he was going to do.
Yeah. That would be smart.
Yeah, um, but what I didn't know was like I didn't know the extent to which he had physical issues.
Oh, yeah. Some with his hands, right? Does he have
He's
problems
got
with his hands?
arthritis in his fingers. He
Okay.
also has this condition called something contracture, where one of his fingers is unable to be fully straightened.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Wow.
Yeah. And it's getting to the point where it's a progressive disease to the point where like
Oh,
it's
he
it's
won't be
not
able to play.
treatable.
He's not going to be able to play
No,
anymore. At least not the
no,
way, not to the level where he is,
absolutely not.
normally. Yeah.
And because I saw video of him playing recently, and I was like, man, he's really kind of sloppy, and I didn't know why. I thought it was just his age, but he's lived a rough life, man.
No, you know what's not just that though, because I've seen them like over the years, like 3 or 4 times. I saw them back on like Symphony and some of the other tours and stuff that they'd done.
Yeah,
And they were always tight. But then when I saw them back in like 2018 or whatever it was when they were touring with Meshuggah, I noticed the same thing that he was like, I was surprised by how sloppy he was because he's
yeah,
much more of a technical player than that normally. So that's why I was kind of like, oh, he's kind of yeah. Because my friend also, one of my best friends with me, my friend Paul, he's also a guitarist. He and I were kind of like, oh, he's kind of that's not normally he's normally
yeah.
tighter than that. So we were both kind of taken aback by that because especially after just watching Meshuggah open for them,
Sure.
and Meshuggah is like perfect.
Yeah,
It's like watching an equation of math, like in the form of music.
it's flawless.
Yeah, it's flawless. So when you see that and then you saw them, it just like this loose kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just surprising for Megadeth.
If I didn't know better, I would have thought maybe he started drinking again,
Oh, that's interesting.
but that didn't happen. I mean, the guy is like solid as a rock with a
Yeah,
cigar.
yeah, yeah,
But it's not only does he have that plus some other physical problems, he also had the issue where this was crazy. Like 20 years ago, it might have been longer ago than that. He was drunk and he fucking passed out in the chair he was sitting in, and he had his arm over the back of the chair, and so he
yeah,
just sleep like this.
yeah.
He didn't realize that he cut off. He pinched a nerve,
Oh no, wow.
and he gave himself pretty bad nerve damage to where
Oh
he
my
said, when I
God.
woke up, I couldn't control my hand.
Oh my God. Wow, I didn't know about that.
No, he had
So
like,
that was like permanent damage he did? He did permanent nerve damage there?
well, it was long-term damage. They were
Oh, okay.
telling him you're not going to play guitar anymore, and he's like, I'll show you.
What the hell?
And he just soldiered away at it
Wow.
until he regained most of his functions.
Wow.
He wasn't like back to um
100%.
Rust in Peace level of
Yeah.
playing, but
Yeah.
he got himself pretty decent. And then we saw him for the Dystopia tour, which I
Yeah.
think was 2016, 2017, something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't the one with Meshuggah because I would have remembered it. Wait, did you see the show in Philly?
Yeah.
Was it at the Electric Factory?
At the Fillmore, yeah.
At the Fillmore.
Yeah, it was at the Fillmore.
I saw one at the Electric Factory.
Yeah, no,
Would it be a different tour?
this was at the Fillmore. Yeah, it must have been
Okay.
different. Yeah, the opening band was Tesseract, and then it was Meshuggah, and then it was Megadeth.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even then it was like you could tell there was a difference in the playing. But
Well, yeah, I
remember,
mean, when I saw him then, he was like, that's what I was saying. He was sloppy. So it was surprising. Yeah.
we saw the one where Suicidal Tendencies opened up.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That might have been like right
That was,
before the
I think that was probably the tour before or something. Yeah.
yeah. But I think in all seriousness, I think he's entitled to hang it up. He's done enough.
Yeah.
He's certainly been a crusader for,
Oh, 100%.
the industry, the metal industry,
He's one
and
of the godfathers for sure of
he,
thrash.
he really is.
Yeah.
And all of the drama with Metallica aside, the guy is a multi-talented
Yeah, for sure.
uh, you know, really had a clear. He's like the perfect example of someone who's so determined, nothing's going to stop him from getting what he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So, and I use that as like my own inspiration back in the 90s when I went through like a period where I was having a depressive episode because I had a relationship that didn't work out. And so I just focused on playing, and like metal is what saved my ass.
Yeah. Cool.
My whole state of mind was saved by it. So that's why, and I credit his playing with a lot of that.
So,
So I
so
think he's gonna have a well-earned retirement.
I think so too. I think we might, it's one of those things where they say they're not going to release anymore, but down the road, you know what I mean? I think he might go back and do something musically, I would think, but
Well,
we'll
he
see.
did say they were interviewing him, and he's like, I don't want to be like one of those acts that says goodbye, and then they come back a few years later and they're playing, recording new music and playing shows
Yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
But
gonna be it.
but we'll see if he does
We'll
that.
see if he can even play.
Well, that's true too. Yeah. So, okay. So one last piece of music news I had that I thought was really interesting. Did you hear about Vinnie Vincent's new release?
That guy's still alive? Really?
Okay, so listen to this. So ex-guitarist of Kiss, right? So you know
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
And Vinnie
So
Vincent is Asian.
right, right. So he's releasing a new album. Okay, now the way he's doing it though is really interesting because instead of releasing just a full album, right? Where you can just buy the album, like all the songs together as an album, right? What he's doing is he's releasing each song as a separate single that you can only get on CD, and each song costs 225 bucks.
That this is It's not April 1st, is it? It's, uh, no.
That's what he's doing. He's releasing every song separately as a single, but you can only buy them on CD and they cost $225 each. Each song, 225 bucks.
I would
Right?
like to know the strain of LSD that he took before coming up with this marketing strategy.
So his idea, and he's a real dick about it too, because his fans are like, "What are you doing? Why, we can't afford this, especially in this economy. What are you doing?" And he equates it like this. He's like, "Well, he's like, look, the artist puts all this work into it. We get ripped off by Spotify and the streaming, which it's legit. That's a legit thing. So
Sure.
I believe that's true. So I understand kind of where he's coming from economically that way. I don't agree with it. I think it's very impractical, but I understand kind of where he's coming from.
Hmm.
So, but then someone said that, okay, they can't afford this. What's your response to that? What's your response? And his response is that, well, tough shit, basically, and that my music is not for everybody. And if you can't afford it, well, it's kind of like caviar. The people that can afford caviar buy caviar. The ones can't don't. So
Wow.
that's his attitude about it. It's kind of like fuck
Wow.
you to anybody that can't afford it. And he's like, if you can afford, if you can afford caviar, you can buy my album, kind of a thing. So that's his attitude.
Well, I wish I could say that I was surprised by that, but knowing what I know about his personality, an he's an incurable egomaniac.
Oh my God, his ego's
He's
so out of
worse.
control.
He's worse than Ingve.
That's saying
Worse than
something. And
Yeah,
that's
it
saying
is. I
something.
mean,
That really saying something.
the few blurbs that I read about Vinny was just like he's always at 100,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I listened to some of his playing, and I'm like, this is not good.
No, he's just kind of a mess. He's just like flying around the fretboard. I don't even know what. Yeah. I've heard his stuff and I never thought it was good. None of it.
It didn't hit me like when you listen to other like virtuosos that really have a good command of the instrument. So,
Right. Right.
like Steve Vai
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
somebody
Joe
like
Satriani or yeah.
Satriani or Jeff
Yeah.
Beck,
Jeff Beck. Yep. Yeah.
people who really have good feel. just cramming 1,000 notes into 2 bars. It's just, it
Well, and
doesn't.
he's just playing fast for the sake of playing fast. There's
Yeah,
nothing there. There's no
yeah,
substance to it. It's just like, look how fast I think I am.
that's right.
And then he's sloppy as hell on top of it. So it's not like he's Ingve where he's like, super precise about it.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of like a little, it's just kind of like this sounds like this mess. So I was never impressed by his playing.
No, no, the guys that you see at Guitar Center are better than he is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. But yeah, that's his model. So that's if you want to get the new Vinnie Vincent Invasion music, there you go.
Oh man, I guess I'm gonna have to go without.
That's pretty much what everybody else is saying too. So I don't
Good
know.
luck to him.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess some hardcore Kiss fan, maybe some collector person, maybe buy this shit, but I don't know. I don't know. I'll be surprised if he sells any copies. I really will, but
Wow.
I don't know. That's his attitude.
Well, maybe the same person who bought the single copy of the final Wu-Tang album will buy that.
Can add that add each single to his collection then. Yeah.
That's right.
So one guy will appreciate it. So all right. So we will move over into album reviews now. And you picked the one this week.
I
So
did.
tell us the one you picked and why you picked it.
Okay, well, we are talking about the second full-length release from Morbid Angel, and this is a uh, brilliant album. Blessed Are the Sick,
There it is.
and yeah, it's some real cool artwork on the front. I forgot the name of it, but it's actual art. And the final album with them being a four-piece. The last album that Richard Brunelli was on before they let him go. Uh, and it's comes out in came out in 91, which is
91
right
on
around
Earache Records.
on Earache Records, another band that recorded down in Morrisound, another band that recorded um, with Scott Burns, and it's just so tight. My God, I've listened to it several times now, and the reason I picked it was because in all of these years, like I've never been a real huge Morbid Angel guy, and I don't know
Yeah.
why. Just like the way that the music is structured, it's so like disjointed at parts and awkward and like weird drums
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
it's not that straight ahead, straightforward, blast beats that I kind of got exposed to. Um, and I thought it was kind of an acquired taste, but I only had the first one, which was Altars of Madness, which is a
Right.
very different record than this is.
Yeah.
And then I sat down and listened to this like for real, and this thing is a masterpiece. It's very it has a lot of dynamics to it. I'll say that. I've read that people are not the biggest fan of the fact that it had like all of these like little musical interludes to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So it has like an intro and it has an outro
Right.
and it has a little flute section at the end of one of
Yeah.
the songs, like, the rats or something. And I thought that was spooky as fuck, man.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm sitting down in this basement. It's like, after midnight, the wife's asleep upstairs, and I'm hearing doo 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 doo. I'm going, ooh, what's gonna happen? And then, of course, there's Richard Brunelli's masterpiece, "Desolate Ways," which is the solo acoustic piece, and
Oh
he was
yeah,
in,
that's a surprising departure in that album.
yeah, it was very unexpected.
Yeah.
I think that's what really makes the album stand out, and it's not long. It's like 39 minutes,
Yeah, that
38
sounds right.
minutes.
Yeah.
So it's easy to digest in a single sitting. It's the production is top notch. The playing is just flawless.
Yeah.
The interplay between Trey Azagthoth and Pete Sandoval, the drummer,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just so tightly locked in.
Yeah.
There's actually a YouTube clip of Richard Brunelli playing along with he's playing along with his own record with
Oh
Immortal
wow.
Rights, which is on the first record
Why did
on
they dump him?
uh allegedly there was substance abuse
Oh, is
issues.
that right? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. and that can wreck people in a lot of different ways. So
Yeah,
I
for
don't know
sure.
what way that manifested with him,
Yeah.
whether he just didn't show up to practice or he did show up and he was a
Just
mess
couldn't play or yeah, gotcha.
or he was very antagonistic. It could have
Yeah,
been a combination of those things.
right.
It's very difficult when you have someone that you're depending on when they
Yeah.
have serious substance abuse
Well, and
issues.
especially that stuff, it's not like they can get away with some sloppy blues thing. I mean, it's all technical what they're doing.
Right,
So
right.
you have to be tight when you're playing. You can't be like
That's right.
goofing around.
That's right. But I mean, maybe they just felt like he just wasn't going to cut it for any further records.
Yeah.
So they were like deciding maybe let's not even start a new record with him. Let's tell him now.
Yeah, yeah, gotcha.
But it's a shame. So they went on to make Covenant after this, which was released in '93, I think.
Yeah.
And that was them as a three-piece. So
Yeah.
he overdubbed his solos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I all of the, I like I sat down here Saturday and just like wrote a bunch of notes out of all the songs, man. It's
Yeah.
just like
Nice.
uh, my favorites probably it's Unholy Blasphemies, which is the ninth song. The notes I have here say total fucking death, bluesy solo, nutso transition, and at the end, Trey thinks he's Hendrix. Because that final solo is just like and I dig it. I dig it. I mean, he does it. He places the notes well, and he's very his picking is very like to use the word articulate again. I hate to keep using the same word, but
Yeah, yeah.
he's a very clean player.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a huge Eddie Van Halen fan. So he once remarked in an interview, that he he really was influenced by Eddie,
No
and
shit. Huh.
he would just be like, just listen to his rhythm playing. If
Okay.
you want, if you want to really get what drives me in terms of what I come up with for Morbid Angel, listen to a Van Halen
No
record.
kidding. Really? Is that where he
Yeah.
got his inspiration? That'd be damn.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. He
I
was
didn't know
into
that.
the whole shred scene.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool.
So, yeah. I never got to see them, unfortunately. Did you?
No, I've never seen them. No, I've never seen them live. I thought I saw them at Milwaukee Metal Fest, but no, I don't think I see them. So no, I missed them.
Yeah.
Never seen them
They
live.
what I was supposed to see them open for Black Sabbath.
Whoa, wow.
Odd. Yeah.
When
But
was that?
it was 94 and I
Wow.
was living in Indiana at the
They were
time
opening
and
for Black Sabbath. That's
in
crazy.
Chicago.
Whoa.
And I think it was Black Sabbath.
God, that's crazy. Which tour was that, I wonder?
I think it was, yeah, because it was when Sabbath was Ozzy was not singing
No,
because
no, it was one of the other. Yeah, I forgot
I
who
can't
was it.
remember the guy's name who was singing for him.
Yeah.
But so
Wow.
Lafayette is about a 2 hours and change drive from Chicago.
Yeah.
And of course, and it was like January of '94, and of course, this fucking blizzard happened the
And then
day of the show. So my buddy that was going to go to the show with me comes over to my apartment, and he's like, "I don't know, man, the roads are pretty scary right now." And I'm like, "Well, you're doing the driving, so if you want, we can try to make a stab at it." And we got about 10 miles outside of town, and the traffic ground down to like
uh,
5 or 6 miles an hour down this
no,
highway. And I
yeah,
said, you know what, man, at this rate, it's going to take us 6 hours to get up there.
yeah, forget
We're
it.
going to miss the show anyway. So
Yeah.
we turned around and went back. And I
Uh,
called the club in Chicago and I'm like, hey, I'm just wanting to see, did you reschedule the show? And he's like, for what? I said, because of the snow. He goes, no, we're still having the show. It was Chicago. They're used to snow.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Get up here, you weakling.
Yeah.
So it's like great. So we just kind of sat around and talked talk shit for a while and had a couple drinks and that was that.
Cool.
I never got to see him.
Uh, so all right. I listened to it too. I'm familiar with the album. I was never a big Morbid Angel guy myself. Um, I had an appreciation for them and respect for them. Just I don't know, just they just never grabbed me, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I did like some of their did like some of the stuff I heard off of Covenant and so some of off of some of the other albums.
Mhm.
Um, they're definitely one of those bands that were defining, I think, the genre at the time when it was first starting. So they're one of the bands I think that laid a lot of the foundational stuff for the genre. Like they became
Definitely.
one of those sort of boilerplate bands that you kind of study if you're going to study
Hmm.
death metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're one of the bands you go back to in history and kind of look up and see what they're like, and So I think there was, I think they had a lot of influence that way. Um, like what I did notice about it was it's good for the production of the time. So, but I did notice that sometimes the production was a little muddy sounding, but that's just because of the nature of the I think of the the mixing and stuff. Because we talked
Yeah.
about how the mixing is like done at more sound, and they're good at extracting all that. But there are
Right.
times when I found that it was just a little, but that's just I think it was just the technology at the time more so.
At the
Because I used to
time.
work in,
Yeah.
well, yeah, because I used to work in studios around that time too. So it was just you had what you had. And
Yep.
then I like when they remaster things because it does help clarify some of those old mixes and stuff. So I'd like to
True.
hear a remix of this, like a new, you know what I mean? That would
I,
be interesting to hear.
I think they did remaster and
Did they
re-release.
remaster it? Okay, I might have to
Yeah,
go
because
back and revisit that.
this copy is 2018.
Okay. Oh,
I think I read that in 2019 they put out a like an enhanced
oh,
CD.
did they? Okay, I might have
It
to
was
check that out.
something called a combo disc where the one side was a CD of the album and the other
Yeah.
side was a DVD of their like music.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it's pretty cool technology to have those two things fused
Yeah,
onto the
yeah.
same
Okay.
physical. So maybe that's a version that would be
I have to
remastered
check
then.
that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I did notice that there's times when the melody and the vocals almost feels punkish. Did you catch that at all? I thought there's a sort of a punk delivery sometimes, the way he kind of like some of the attitude that was there, the way he kind of barks and stuff at times. I almost felt like there was a punk vibe in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just with the vocals a little bit.
It's a unique vocal
I don't know if
delivery.
that's I don't know if I'm hitting the mark on that, but to me it sounded kind of a little bit. There were moments I thought his vocal was kind of like that a little bit. It was interesting
Yeah.
because he's kind of the typical death metal singer, but just he does have those moments where he's just a little bit more. There's some attitude in there that I
Oh,
noticed.
totally.
You
Yeah, I
know?
don't remember what song it's on, but there's a part where like the he stops his vocals and the music continues and he just utters the last word from the previous verse and it was
Yeah,
just the word suffer and the way he said just
yeah, yeah,
suffer
yeah, yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh man, that's so badass."
He does kind of move around a little bit, so I thought that was cool. And yeah, Desolate Ways was a really big surprise when that just shows up and you're like, what? This is like a whole different album.
I
It doesn't
know.
seem like it belongs on there. So, but that was a cool again sort of departure, which made them a bit unique because again, how many bands are doing those kind of like just musical interlude things
Totally.
that weren't about extreme. It was just about a good piece of music that they felt fit into place
Yeah.
with everything else.
Oh
So
yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and I liked a lot of the leads. But like the one lead that really stood out to me was on the Ancient Ones. So
Okay.
that one was I thought just like really cool, just like really tight and kind of precise and technical and all the things you want a good solo to be. But then I listened to but then when I was listening to Brainstorm, I
Yeah.
thought that solo was kind of like just like I don't know if the intention was there, but it just kind of felt messy and kind of like all over the place. So I don't know if he was going for something more discordant or if that just kind of came out that way. You know what I mean? So I don't know
On
if you listen to the,
brainstorm.
yeah, listen to Brainstorm and then listen to the Ancient Ones and then you'll hear what I'm talking about.
So I have tight and fast as shit
For which one?
for
For
brainstorm.
Brainstorm. Okay.
Evil ass lyrics, kick my ass solos again, expert level transition, outrageous thrash section, and then Trey slays at the end. I don't know, maybe
It's probably the outrageous thrash section that feels like, but maybe that's the intention though,
oh,
right?
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's because I know he's a good player. I'm not questioning his skill,
Yeah,
but
of
I'm
course.
just like, it feels stylistically like that one's a lot more chaotic versus something more constructive like the Ancient Ones was. Does that make
You're right
sense?
on the money. Totally.
So that was something I noticed that was interesting. I don't know how many people will pick up on that as far as like whether he did that intentionally or that they think he just fucked it up. You know what I
Uh,
mean?
we're never gonna know.
But that's just, I don't know. I just thought that was, whatever that, because, it's obviously my interpretation of this. So I don't know what
Yeah,
his
of
intent
course.
was, but, I thought that was an interesting take on it. But
He's a very unique player with a
he
very
is.
interesting kind of approach to like I mean I've listened to countless bands that do crazy solos, but he's sets it apart. because I like he makes you question. He almost reminds me of like Vernon Reid,
Oh yeah, from Living Color. Yeah.
like the Vernon Reid of death metal.
Yeah, yeah. I can hear that.
Because you listen to Vernon and you're like, does he really know his shit? Does he really know jazz? He says he went to Berkeley, and it's like,
Yeah, there's a lot
or
of
I don't
jazz
know if,
influence and stuff in there. Yeah, so he's kind
yeah.
of like, yeah, yeah.
But when you hear Vernon Reid
True.
playing by himself, bring, bring, do, 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 do,
Yeah.
do, I'm like, oh
You're like,
crap, it
oh,
doesn't.
you're like, okay, yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yeah.
It's like Page Hamilton from Helmet. You listen to his playing and you're like, that dude went to, I think he's the one that went to Berkeley.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then he plays these jazzy interludes and he
yeah,
he smokes them.
yeah, yeah.
So I
So,
think Trey's in that kind of
and
class.
that, yeah, definitely. So, cool.
Cool.
All right, so we're gonna do a music, an album review every week. So we'll come back to that. Now we come to the part where we try to introduce a band that we haven't heard of. One, I try to turn you onto a band. You try to turn me onto a band.
Oh, okay.
So, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. Have you heard yet? Have you listened yet to Blood Incantation?
I've heard of them and I've heard some of their stuff. I've seen the
Okay.
video where they are in outer space and they're flying through planets and
Okay.
things like
You
that.
have to get the album or listen to the album called Elsewhere.
All right.
It's like if Pink Floyd was a death metal band. I'm serious. That's what it's that's exactly what it sounds like to me.
Really?
Oh yeah. So the musicianship is like crazy, crazy, crazy good. But then they do these like you talk about a departure. It goes off in this distance. You're like, where the hell are we going? And
Yeah,
but
it's
it may
incredible.
but it all works. Like the whole thing. It's like listening to a bunch of classical music suites, all in
Nice.
one, all going from one to the other in the whole album. And they're definitely out there. They were definitely channeling something when they wrote this thing. So,
Really?
yo, my God, it's yeah, it's like it's something that it's gonna be, one of those albums that's looked at as like an album of its time that
Mm,
was just like one of those influential albums that everybody was like, this is like the best thing, ever that
mm,
year.
mm.
So yeah, so listen to it. So I have my shirt here, right there it is. So it clearly says Blood Incantation. You can see that, right? So
Anybody can see that,
yeah, well,
Sean.
duh. I mean, come on. Obviously, there's a
It's
B, there's a L. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna spell it out for you. You can see
I
it.
see a
So
semicolon.
yeah. So and then there's the back of the shirt. But yeah,
Ah,
so I saw them here in Portland. But
nice.
yeah, so if you get a chance, you have to look up that album, Absolute Elsewhere.
All right. Got
Can't
it.
recommend it enough. It's a masterpiece. It is just a
Okay.
masterpiece for its time. I'm gonna just shut up because I'd rather let the album do the talking for the rest of it.
Okay.
But listen to that album, and I'm telling you, it'll like just sit down and listen to it from beginning to end. Though you got it because
Mhm.
that's the only way you're gonna appreciate it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
it.
it's like listening to The Wall.
Yeah, they're an album oriented band.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
All their albums have been kind of like that because I once I kind of discovered that album, I went down a rabbit hole and started getting some of their other stuff. And their EPs are like, so are incredible. I'm just gonna bring up something here so I can look at it while we're talking. But yeah, the hold on a second, let me just bring this up real quick. Where is it? Blending. There we go. So yeah, I got Absolute Elsewhere. There's one called Hidden History of the Human Race. There's another album called Time Wave Zero, which is all ambient, like time or like soundscapey stuff. It's not like death metal. It's just like atmospheric stuff. The whole album's like that. So,
Nice.
so like I said, very Pink Floydy, lots of keyboards, things like that. Clean vocals as well as the death metal vocals. Oh yeah, but sung in a way that again it's very Pink Floyd. If you didn't hear the death metal part, you might be like, that sounds like a Pink Floyd band.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. So yeah, so just check them out, and again, I think you'll really appreciate them. And
Cool.
I had the chance to see them live last this past summer here in Portland, and they were just mind-blowingly good. Like they played that whole album beginning to end,
No
nonstop,
kidding.
seamlessly, and it was just perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just like yeah, there's just a flawless band. We see them like just
It's something to be said
consummate
about
musicians. Yeah, just amazing.
seeing a band play an album that you love like that from beginning to end.
That's one reason why I wanted to go because I knew they were doing that, and they just played. It was just like that. The whole thing was
Yeah.
just perfect. Yeah, Yeah.
Mhm.
So there you
Well,
go.
you've heard of Cynic, right?
I have.
I watched them open for Cannibal Corpse back in '94,
Right on.
and we played the entire album Focus.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I remember standing there, I had just gotten a beer, and I'm like, and I watched the whole set, and I looked down, and my beer was still there. I didn't take a sip of this. That's how incredible it was.
I've been to shows like that. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Live music is awesome.
So what do you got for me?
So back in 1990, a band came out of France, a thrash band. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're called Zentrix.
I've heard the name, but I can't say I've ever listened to it. It's spelled as an X. Sure. I will
Xentrix.
look them up. Zentrix.
And the LP is called For Whose Advantage.
For whose advantage? Okay, write it down.
And I got exposed to it because it was covered in I don't remember if it was a Guitar Magazine or if it was Metal Maniacs. Um, but it basically marketed it as, if you're into tight thrash metal, i.e., old Metallica, um, Exodus, Testament,
Yeah.
you like this record. So I went right out to where I got all my stuff and bought it, took it home, and it blew my mind how good it was. It was very tight and neat guitar tones. Just very well executed thrash metal, and when thrash was still kind of in its heyday.
Yeah.
And I know they came out with more albums besides that. I just never got into any others because I
Okay.
was on my little ascendancy to extreme
Are
metal.
they still around or are they done?
I don't know. I didn't look that up.
Okay, I have to look them up. Zentrix.
I
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay. So what do you know what year what around when they came out?
that was 90,
90.
1990.
Okay, cool. All right.
But
Well, for who's
it's
advantage?
aged very well.
Yeah.
If you listen to it
Holds
now, it's
still holds
like,
up.
oh yeah, oh
Cool.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't have a modern sound to it, but it's very well, uh, I don't know, carried out, however you want to put it.
Produced.
Yeah, the production is very good on it. Yep.
Cool.
I don't know what label it was on because I didn't look that up, but I just remember getting into that at the time. I'm like, oh my God, I just discovered this awesome new band, and that didn't happen very often because most of the time people were turning me on to stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool.
So,
I will look up Zentrix. All right,
yep.
thank you for that. All right, so now we're on to pretty much we're wrapping things up here. The last part of the show, we just kind of talk about things like live shows or tours coming up or anything else that you know that you want to go see. Or so, is there anybody else that anybody touring wise that you want to go see, or anything, any shows you have tickets for?
Nothing. Well, I wanted to go see a death metal band. They're called Sanguisugabogg.
Oh, Sanguisugabogg, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They were with another band called Defeated Sanity, which I think is from Germany, but
okay,
they have Americans in the band.
yeah.
Uh, I, I mean, all of it just like top notch. And it was the Sunday of, oh no, the Saturday night of Thanksgiving weekend a few
Oh,
weeks back, and I got the damn norovirus the day before
oh
Thanksgiving.
no,
So not only did I miss Thanksgiving with my family, I also, by the time Saturday rolled around, I was like starting to feel normal again. But I'm like,
oh,
man, I can't go out to the city. It's cold out, and I just don't
that
have the
sucks.
energy. I'm still wiped out, so I didn't get to see that. But that would have been my third show of the year after the one I was telling you about earlier with Abysmal Dawn.
Yeah.
They opened up for Christian from
Yeah, yeah,
Brazil.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Christian, awesome.
Oh, that was fantastic. And then early in the summer, I had a ticket to go see Sinister from Holland,
Oh, yeah. I'm a fan. I live Sinister. Yeah.
and they were co-headlining with Master, like
Oh
the
my
old.
God, Master. Yeah, they've been around forever.
They were
Both those
playing
bands
it.
have been around forever. Yeah.
I know, and that's why I was like, oh
Wow.
my God, this is like ancient. These are OGs.
Wow. And they were
I need to
playing
go see.
and they were playing Jersey?
They were playing at Milk Boy in Philly.
Oh, in Philly, a Milk Boy. No kid. They were playing a Milk Boy in Philly.
Yeah, exactly. You know
You're
how smart a place
kidding.
is. Milk
Wow.
I walked up to the top of the
That's
stairs
incredible.
and 5 feet away from me, sitting at his own merch table, was Paul Speckman from
Oh,
Nest.
no way.
And I was like, ah, anybody could just walk up to him and see him. And unfortunately, though, the guys from Sinister ran into passport issues
Oh
because
no.
this was back in like September, August, something like that. It was back when people were having like problems coming and going from
Yeah.
America
Yeah.
without getting into the politics too
Yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah.
Basically, that's what
Oh
caused that.
no. That's
So
screwed them up.
I know, like I only knew about it because one day
Ah.
I looked at the bill on Facebook and I'm like, what happened to Sinister's logo? And so I started
Oh.
researching around and I come to find out, oh,
They
they're not gonna.
canceled. That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh no. And they were the band I would have wanted to see.
I That's how I
Nothing
felt.
against Master. I'm just more of a I like Sinister
Oh,
better.
totally.
Wow.
Totally. And I
Oh
had
man.
we had already, like, I was supposed to see Sinister back in like 1994.
Yeah, yeah.
They were the first act on that show with Cynic and Cannibal Corpse.
Oh no. Wow.
And unfortunately, because it was in Cincinnati and it took us 3 hours to get there from where we were in Indiana,
Uh,
I thought we left early enough. Obviously, we didn't. We walked in, but he was playing,
oh, you
and
missed
we're
them.
like, "Oh, Sinister just played."
Oh
I was like,
shit.
"Oh," and this was back in the,
Uh,
um, oh yeah, I remember what album that they had out back at that time, but it was so brutal. Diabolical Conquest.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
My
yeah.
God. And then so this is the second time that I missed them. And
Uh,
a guy at the show was like, "Oh, if you want to see them, they'll be at the Maryland Deathfest next year." So I may go to that.
that does look like a good lineup. I've been watching the posters for that. They're gonna have a pretty good lineup there, I think.
Yeah, Grave is going to be there.
Yeah, I
And
saw that. Yeah,
I was like, this might be my last chance to see them.
right.
So I think that's the big ticket that I'm looking
Might
forward
want to
to.
go. Yeah, that's a good show. I like the Maryland Deathfest. That's a good show. Yeah, Sanguisugabogg. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they're actually on tour now with Lamb of God. They're opening up with they've got like three bands opening on their tour. They're
Oh
doing this big
wow.
tour in 26. Yeah, it's Lamb of God, Kubla Khan, Texas, um, or Kubla Khan TX. I guess it's Texas. Um, uh, who is it? Fit for an Autopsy, and then Sanguisugabogg's opening. So
Uh,
I'd like, I keep missing Lamb of God, and they've been playing here in Portland, and I keep missing them, and it's driving me nuts. And I would
mhm.
love to go to this tour, but I'm old, and I don't want to sit through three bands I don't really want to see. So I'm gonna miss this tour too,
Oh
unfortunately.
no.
Well, they came through with like Mastodon and Kerry King, and that was one I should have seen. And they also before that they came through with Gojira, and I was like, shit. So I
Yeah,
kept
another
missing,
one.
I kept missing them. And then this time they're coming through, and I'm like, now I can see them, but I don't really want to see that lineup. Nothing against those other bands. I'm just not into those other bands.
Yeah.
So because I've listened to all three of them, they're like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, they're cool, but then I don't want to sit through sets of all three,
Yeah.
and I'm old, so I don't really want to sit through all that.
No,
So
I
I'm gonna
get it.
miss them again. Damn
Dude,
it.
that struggle is so real.
Right. Well, 57, so it does, it does catch up to you a little bit. So,
Sure. You just got to sit a little, man.
well, but hey, man, at the same time, when I saw, Blood Incantation, I was in the pit. So I'm just saying.
Oh, no kidding.
So yeah, I'm in the pit, man. And then also when I saw Zeal and Ardor over the summer too, I was in the pit for that too. But I can also relate to your thing about missing shows. I had I guess it's earlier this year. In Flames came through with Unearth, and I love both those bands. And I had tickets to go see them, and I got screwed up by a storm, and I got stuck in Chicago, and then I missed the show.
Ay,
So
ay.
yeah, I know.
Another
I'm so
storm-related
pissed. I'm
casualty.
so pissed. Yeah, so pissed because those two bands I love in Flames. I used to work with them because they were
Oh
nuclear
yeah.
blast band. Yeah, I used to work with those guys. And then and of course I got into Unearth after that because I saw they were opening. I wasn't that familiar with them, but I started going down the rabbit hole and they were amazing. So if you get a
Damn.
chance, Unearth, yeah, really good band. But yeah, unfortunately, I missed that show. So right now, I don't really have anything else coming up on my. I don't have any tickets for anything, but
Mhm.
we'll keep talking about it and seeing who's out there and touring and all that
Sure.
good stuff. So,
Yeah.
all
All
right,
quiet on the Western Front for right now.
yeah. Do you have tickets for anything coming up?
No, no.
No.
I figured I would try to work out the Maryland Death Fest and see if something else comes up. I thought I saw something in the next few months. I think something was up in Brooklyn, and
Okay.
I don't remember what it was. There's I don't know. I have to look back at because you get like alerts on Facebook about
Yeah.
different bands, and I forgot it was. So I'll look into it, and next time we get together, we'll talk about
We'll
it.
talk more. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of which, yeah, keep an eye out for Lamb of God. They're going to be on tour beginning 26 early next year with those other bands. So check them out. All right.
Awesome.
And that brings us to the end of our first show. How do you think it went?
Oh, I feel delightful. I
You think
love talking about metal with
did we
people,
talk
man.
about the metal enough? Did we get enough metal out there, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's very metallic in taste.
Okay.
Kind of like Mercury, but don't tell anybody I said that because then they'll know why I'm the way I am.
All right. So yeah, so join us next week and or for the next podcast and we will go from there. Thank you for joining us. Please share our podcast with anyone that appreciates heavy music. Be sure to visit our social feeds and drop us a comment with your thoughts on the podcast.